Hello, everybody, and welcome to Angels News. Today is the 15th of March, 22, and it's actually a holiday here now in Israel. It's Purim. It's like Halloween that the kids and all the people are getting dressed and wearing costumes, and we celebrate. Purim is actually talking about the change in the luck that we had. And this is something that is important to me to say before we start that the last initiation that we did, we got a message in the initiation that now the holidays are changing and we need to celebrate together. And each religion, when they have any celebration whatsoever, a holiday, we don't need to look at it as our own holiday, but to look at it as an opportunity to bless other people, not only from our the same religion as us, in the meaning and the essence of this holiday. So Purim is about this holiday is about freedom and about sorry, it's not about freedom, it's about happiness. It's about changing our luck to something better. So I want to start this live by saying that I am blessing all of you, no matter where you live, no matter what you believe in, that we will always be in happiness and we will always be in good luck and feel our good luck, our good fortune, and we'll be able to see it. So let's start with that. And now I see that you're joining me. So good evening. Here from Israel, it's now evening. So hello to everyone who's joining me. And you can also say hi. Thank you, team. Thank you so much. Team is blessing me. And thank you. Thank you very much. And here's Anna joining us, and happy holiday. Thank you. So we're going to start now to talk about the changes that are happening now. And I hope you have seen the weekly message. It was a very, very different message than usually. This weekly message actually came from Einstein, and it was very, very different from me to receive this message because he had a different intonation. The way that he spoke through me, my body felt differently. I felt a different energy. It was like I'm grounded, and at the same time, I'm there as well. And I could feel in my throat, I could feel a different voice coming out of me. So if you've seen the weekly message, you know what I mean. And Einstein actually came to talk to us about the science that is now changing. And he asked the scientists, and not just them, all the people, to put a question mark on everything that we see now. And he said to us that there are a lot of things that are now changing, and we don't know how to understand them because they make no sense. And it's related to the things that they have talked to us before. In the past few weeks, they've said to us, leave the old mind aside and look from the eyes of the soul, feel it from your heart, and listen from the new way of listening. It's a different way of listening. They started talking to us about it, and they said that now there's a lot of things that are happening that we cannot understand, and we need to put the old mind aside. And he came to us now and he said, you need to put a question mark on everything that you see. You need to put a question mark on everything that you know, because you can only understand it. It can only be reasonable if you will think about it the way you're already ready to think. And he said that things that look chaotic now, like what's happening now in Ukraine and Russia, we cannot understand them with the old mind that we are so used to look at things, because we don't know the starting point of everything. And after this message that he gave to me, I got also another message to read about Lawrence. And I went to read about him, and he was actually talking. I want to tell you exactly the way that it's written. Wait. I need to find his name. Okay, so he was talking about electric and magnetic forces. Both affect the trajectory of charged particles, but in qualitatively different ways. So he was actually talking about electric forces and magnetic forces, and about the change that they do in the root related to how fast the partials are. And this is actually also related to what Einstein was talking about, which is the theory of relativity. And they both are talking about the changes that are happening now that we call it chaos because we don't know how to predict things. We don't know how to predict things because we are using the mind that we already use to look at things this way. And they said that what we call the chaos theory is the meaning of what we say is that we cannot predict the end. We cannot predict the results that will be from the situations that we are now observing. And Einstein came to me and he said, well, the chaos theory is like it's also related to the butterfly theory. Is talking about that the beginning point. If you don't understand the beginning point, you cannot predict what will come. You cannot predict the changes that will happen next because you don't understand the beginning point, the starting point. And it actually, there's a lot of difference if you're looking at an equation and there is a number and the number has three numbers after the point. Okay, it's 0.3 numbers. And if you have five numbers after point, so you know two numbers more, it can completely change the outcome. And this means that we cannot understand the outcome. We cannot predict the changes that will happen because we don't understand the starting point completely. We can only see a part of it. And we know already that the starting point of the universe is unconditional love. But it's something that we're still learning. It's something that we're still trying to understand how it affects us. We still don't understand from our mind the meaning of unconditional love. So it's like we have only three numbers after the point, 0.3 numbers, and we don't understand the two more. So we can talk to ourselves and tell ourselves so many times, like they are doing all the time, telling us the unconditional love created this world. The creator, okay, God is unconditional love. And we tell ourselves, okay, so if God is unconditional love, the creation of the entire universe is unconditional love. So now, from looking from that perspective on the chaos that we see now, for instance, in the war in Ukraine and Russia, we're looking at it and we're saying, okay, so this is the starting point, unconditional love. So can I understand what is going on here now in this chaos that I see? Most of the times we will not able to see that because we don't understand things from the entire mind. We are using only a small part of our mind still, and it will change eventually. It will change soon. I will give you today practical tools what you can do in order to change that. But what he came to tell us is that we need to put a question mark on everything that we see and to remember that, like the butterfly effect, we don't understand completely the starting point. We understand only a small part of the starting point by telling ourselves that it's created from unconditional love. And every time that we look, if you look at the butterfly effect, by the way, if you just write butterfly effect in Google, Wikipedia, you will check it. You will see that the butterfly effect is like the wings of the butterfly, but the shape is like the infinity. Okay, and if you look at the Lawrence, if you read about him, you will see. I think his name is Henrik Lawrence. I think I'm not sure. I'll need to check it, and you will see that he's talking about not be able to predict the changes because there is no time, there is no time. I forgot the word. So everything is changing without being able to predict it. So the thing is that when you see it, when you see the movement, it's moving from the infinity. It is the infinity shape, but in a different ways. Because if I will draw it for you, I have the drawing from the morning, so I will show it to you. So this is like the butterfly effect, and sometimes you're doing small rounds, and sometimes it's going to bigger round. And what he said is that you cannot predict when he will do the inner circle and when he will do the bigger circle, and then again the inner circle, and maybe again the inner circle again, and only then the medium and the bigger one. And he said you cannot predict the way that this will behave because you don't understand the starting point. And the angels are telling us it's not that you not just that you don't understand the starting point, it's also the way you observe it. Okay, so if you're observing the situation from a very, very narrow perspective of the mind that we are used to look at it, so we will see the smaller circles, we will see the inner circle, we will not be able to see the wider perspective. And what they're asking us to do, the first thing that is a very practical tool that we can use, is when we see something that looks chaotic to us and we don't understand, they ask us to close our eyes, calm ourselves down, just feel our our um, um, our hearts, and to connect inside and to say, open my perspective that I will see and will understand this movement. Okay? Because what we are not seeing now, we are not being able to see the unconditional love movement because we are forgetting the starting point, which is unconditional love. We are looking at it from another perspective, the perspective of the mind, the perspective of our emotions as well. And we are forgetting the perspective of unconditional love. So, the first practical tool is when you see a chaotic situation, calm down, look inside, find your center, and then say, open, make it wider, my perspective, so I'll be able to see the movement that is now happening and the unconditional love perspective. So this dimension that is changing all the time is something that is we cannot really understand from our minds yet. Step by step, we're doing baby steps, and they're helping us all the time, giving us more information, a little bit more, and eventually we'll get it. We'll be able to see it. So this is one tool that they gave us. And obviously, if you have questions, write them down. I know that what I'm talking about now is physics and mathematics, and it's not that I know all of this information and can really explain to you. Also in English, it's even harder, but I'm giving you, I think, only the information that they gave me, what I can understand and what I can explain. So hopefully it will be good enough and you will understand it. But if not, ask questions and I'll be happy to ask them and answer. So the second thing is that they told us, I don't know if I told you, but in the initiation that we had 2 weeks ago for this new month of Adar, I sang Adar, they told us to do this shape in our hands. Okay, so to put this way our hands when this finger is actually on our here on the third eye and the between our eyebrows, and this finger is on the top of the head, just where the hair starts, and the thumbs are over here. Okay, so they told us to do this and also take them around, do circles. And when we do that, they said to ask to open our perspective. Again, as I said before, to open my perspective, to see the movement in this dimension, the movement of unconditional love, so we will be able to understand it. And we did it in the initiation, we did it and we synchronized our physical eyes with our spiritual eyes. And also we did the same here, the same here on this way. So we put our thumbs here on the top of our ears. I hope you can see that, and our fingers this way, so it will also be in the base of our scalp, and will be this way, and also to turn around on the top of our ears, just above our ears. And again, to say to open our ears to listen to the new movement in this dimension, and to understand, to open our perspective to unconditional love and the changes that are now happening. So again, we cannot predict the future because we don't understand the starting point. Okay, so we can predict only what we understand. And our mind is looking for reasonable things and looking to understand things from the old way of thinking, because this is what we know. This is what is familiar to us. This is what our parents taught us. This is what we learned at school. This is what they're talking in the news, to look at things from the old perspective. And this is why things are looking to us like chaos, and they're looking we're looking for a certain behavior of this of the nature of things that are around us, because this is what we are used to, and then we are actually expecting from the same behaviors as we've seen before. So if you will look, for instance, if you look at the past, okay, for they say there's a saying, I don't remember exactly how this saying goes, but it says that there's nothing new under the sun. So everything that happened before will happen again. And if you will look at this movement of the uncondition of the infinity, and also the butterfly effects, it says about the same. So we are all the time getting to the same point that we've been before. We're doing the same circles. We're moving. This movement is actually not changing. But what is changing is our perspective. So, as I said before, we are looking at things from a different perspective. We are changing. Our mind is open. There is a wider way for us to understand what is changing in this world, and also not just understanding, a new way of receiving information, a new way of deciding things, a new way of behaviors that we are going to learn how to act. We are going to learn what to do. And if you remember, we've talked about the dimension of time. And in the dimension of time, we talked about that the person is standing in the middle in this lifetime. And in a circle, there is different lifetimes around him, and all the time this person, and every lifetime, every incarnation, there's actually a lesson there. And this person is doing a circle all the time, circling, and meet those people and those lessons from other lifetimes in his life, in different times in this lifetime. And when he's doing this circle, it's not that he's coming back to the same place. No, is during a spiral, is going up. So his consciousness is changing, and his perspective is changing. He's going through a development, a spiritual development and personal development. So when he meets this lesson again, he's there from in another perspective. You meet it from a new perspective, from a new point of view, and he can understand new things about himself and can make new decisions. So it's the same here happened also with this universe, that we're doing this movement of the infinity, but we meet these lessons that we have met before, like World War One and Two, and hopefully not three, and we are meeting the same lessons from a different perspective. We're meeting it from a bigger, it's not a bigger, it's a higher perspective actually, and a wider way of a wider perspective as well, because we are growing and we are raising our spiritual perspective all the time, and we understand things differently. But we're still looking at it from our physical eyes and still thinking about it from our physical mind. And we need to understand that we cannot understand the changes and look chaotic to us, because we keep forgetting the starting point. So, as I said before, what can help us is to remind ourselves that the starting point is always unconditional love. That means whatever it is that we are looking at, whatever it is that we don't understand, whatever it is that looks chaotic to us, the base, the starting point of this thing is unconditional love. That means that it obviously have to be something good, something that is helping us change the world to a better place. And one of the things that are going to happen starting from now, it's already started actually, started already a few months ago, about I think 10 months ago, is that there are going to be different places around the planet that are going to take a very, very big lesson on them, this place and the people of that place, that they will choose a lesson. And they're going to have an energy, a spiral energy above the place that they live in, the people that live in those all kind of very, very strong places that are going to go through a lesson. And we will observe it from afar. We will see those places, like now in Ukraine we see the war, but they are cleaning something from the universe for all of us, from the entire world. And the only thing that we can do is send them a lot of love, and to try to open our mind and try to see the higher perspective of the situation and remind ourselves that this situation was created by the starting point of unconditional love to clean something from our planet. And when we will see all kind of things that sometimes we will not understand, we need to remember that this place, the people there chose to clean something from this planet. Also here in Israel, we have a lesson to clean for the entire planet. We are working on it. Takes time, and you can really see places. Also, Australia have a very very strong lesson to clean from this planet, and there is a spiral of energy above those places. And when we see that, when we understand, we believe that this place is now doing something for the entire universe, what we can do is send them love and to ask from our guides and the entire creation to open our perspective to unconditional love so that we will understand why this is happening and it will not look chaotic to us. And again, I will show you, you can do this movement and to close your eyes and say that you're open your perspective, okay, and you're willing to see the unconditional love movement and to understand the unconditional love decisions and to really open our hearts and remind ourselves that even though we don't understand it, we cannot predict what will happen. There is a logic there. It's just not something that we can understand now because the beginning point, the starting point of this universe is unconditional love. So everything works for our highest benefit. Everything will be okay. Everything is for the good, even if we don't understand it. So, thank you. Thank you very much for being with me. If you feel that you also want to bless people around the world, so feel free to write down what you're blessing now. And as I said before, Purim is a holiday of happiness and of changing from bad luck to good luck. So I'm hoping that very soon we will see the good luck, good fortune for everyone. So please write down what you are blessing the entire world. It doesn't matter if you're celebrating today or not, because every day that we are here and we're learning these new amazing opportunities the world has to offer us, every day is a celebration. So thank you so much and have a wonderful week. And please pass it on and tag more friends so they can join us. See you again on Sunday on a weekly message. Bye.